wife and I live about an hour southeast of Edmonton at the south end of Elk Island Park on 11 acres of aspen parkland. And we have a studio that involves a drawing studio, a meditation hall, and a printing shop. We've done all this very intentionally so that we can divorce ourselves from routines and schedules, the busyness of city life.
Walter is a world-renowned printmaker. His work is like nothing else we've seen. It is something that is influenced by Japanese printmaking, and it has its own touch to it.
My MO is just to try to slow things down as much as possible so the process could just never end. I always wanted to find a process that would allow me to be completely spontaneous and then very deliberate. So what the print process allows is through collage, I can wet paper and watch it dry. Blow up 200 balloons on this studio floor and over 3 months watch them shrink. I can play with materials and set up situations that allow the materials to express themselves.
WalterJule's work is essentially a process of revealing the things we see but cannot touch. And if you think of printmaking to painting the way you would think filmmaking to theater, it is not a live performance, but it is a documentation of a live performance.
I became fascinated with art. When I was a small child, my mother took me to the Seattle Art Museum, and they had a lot of wonderful Asian art there. And she showed me a painting, which was a painting of Mount Fuji done by a Japanese artist. I was struck indelibly by the power that image had to communicate to me across space and time. I think that I resolved at that moment to do something like that, to be able to express something like that to other people. When I started in the 70s, artists were working with analog printmaking techniques like lithography and screen printing and etching. With the introduction of photomechanical processes, we could integrate photo images with handmade printmaking concepts. So that was how I formulated my concept, I think, as a printmaker. It's not unusual for Canadian print artists to maintain that they are probably better known outside their own country than inside. There's a kind of universal appeal that crosses these boundaries of regionalism. The works are in Portugal for both the exhibitions, right? Sometimes if I have a show abroad, say if I have an exhibition in Tokyo, the feedback I get and the exchange with other artists is so rich that when I come home, maybe I lose my suitcase, but I have a huge bag full of new ideas to try.
Somewhere in the background of many artists' trajectory and career, professional practice, there's always Walter. So it is kind of like this sort of legendary force.
He's taught me grace and skill, and above all, knowing how to be an artist.
What I've been very happy to have been part of is an ongoing kind of expanding of exchange of ideas in printmaking that moves from one generation to another generation, from one culture to another culture, to contribute to a kind of growing awareness of the possibility of this form of work. That's my interest and my goal.